Hi, Juliette. Well, this is it was a total of 84 emails to your mother. Uh, Only have a little bit more than 20 to go, so it just we've just crossed the line of her not having you call me on Father's Day, and she said Juliette just isn't call. She just isn't going to call you, and I pleaded, and nothing. Then she just writes back quite casually the next day, talks about somebody being mean one day and not mean the next. But anyway, so she writes on 6/21, Juliette has passed her two important regents as to English and history. She's definitely going through a grade. Well, bravo for you, Juliette. I was very proud of you for that, indeed. On the 25th, I write, Dear Lori, I kept it short this week. I'm seeing a new therapist, a family therapist, just in case things go the way I would like. But I still think it is pretty slim. You said you have to communicate because you can dispel any misunderstandings. We'll see. You were right. The term was model children and how you were as children. I cannot make any judgments. Although there are some, getting off the email, there are some suggestions that how you behave now may have contributed a lot to how you were as a child. So they tell me. But back to the email. So I admit I was wrong. I just got confused model with moral. I can say I have nothing but good things to say about your immediate family. It's true. I really love, your mother, your sister, Pat, and, I lost so many friends when you left me. I'm talking to your mother now. I'm talking to you, Juliette, about your mother. But I lost a lot of friends, Juliette, when your mother left me. It's too bad that your mother's dad died so long. I wonder. I would like to know. I would like you to have known him. Your mother is a saint. Even though we have our troubles, I refuse to view you as anything good as a good person. When I say your mother's a saint, I meant Gloria, your mother's mother, Gloria. I have been working on this job for 3 days straight. A little sleep, sick, exhausted, excited about a very big job coming up with a famous person, no less, and just a week's break. I'm happy for Juliette. If I could only tell her. Sigh. Okay, I'll have more to say next week. July 3rd. I have not been feeling well, but in spite of that, I'm very busy. My mouth hurts from pulling another tooth. Not many left. Yes, in the time since I've seen you, Juliette, I have pulled 3 of my own teeth instead of paying for it. My next job should be very high paying. I hope to get my knees done next year and have already begun losing weight. I hope you have a nice holiday weekend wherever you are. Now, this is 4th of July weekend. I have a lawyer now, a real one. If I go to court again, I will use her because I can't imagine Iris being any tougher than her. This is true. This is one reason why your mother's not going to take me to court again. Now, as I mentioned, I am seeing a family therapist, and she's willing to see 2 or 3 or 3 of us all together. If that has to wait until October 1st, so be it. However, 2 different lawyers, after reading our emails and the fact that you petitioned for a permanent order of protection, and that I was allowed by the judge to report to you that I could write Juliette, although she never reads them, they are of the opinion that you will try and re-up the order before 89 days, the last 89 days now, and that you're still being angry after 2 years, all indicate that this will not end October 1st, and that your instructions on what to do and what not to do during the next 89 days. And they read every letter in the email before I send them, so they found a huge error about the first trial that would get it thrown out. I wish I had them as my lawyers, getting off the email. Because they saw this as that trial as a circus. Back to email. I was that it was that it was That was stupid to use a public defender, because if I did, I may have very well be seeing Juliette this time. Not to mention getting Juliette help sooner. I didn't know. I was caught so off guard at the idea that I getting money up scrounged up to a lawyer. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was. They gave me a free attorney. I thought, how bad can it be? Well, yeah, it was bad. How can I afford this? Well, it's been a long time, and I don't think I have been planning for myself. The fact that I beg you to have Juliette call me on Father's Day was all I needed to know. One thing is for sure, you can't hurt me anymore. You have to live with what you did, but your family and friends need to know that I have indicated there are many people that know about both of us, and about the thing about people is that they just can't keep their mouths shut. So going back to court would not be a good idea, but I am willing to just go back to the way they were, being civil to each other and seeing Juliette. I have to tell you all of this before a cop knocks on my door, and my lawyers say they surely will. Now, I can't make Juliette do anything, but I know one visit is all I need. There are so many conditions in my will. Now, I can afford to get the best lawyer possible because I do have money of sorts, and that is the land in Louisiana. So if I need to use that as collateral, the land being left to my benefactor, he or she will use that money now, and the money from the land will pay off the lawyer as well as everything else. I cannot trust you would somehow get the money and my stuff, so Juliette is out of the will for now. Because if I died, when I wrote this, and the same stands right now in April of 2018, if I die today, I don't want your mother to get one single penny of my money. And so my will states that, and there's nothing really to leave you, Juliette, because the IRS is probably going to take it all anyway. This is not a threat. It is a way of able to not let what happened before happen again. I can never get that time back. It's gone forever. Do yourself a favor and rent the movie Fantastic Lies to see how one person can destroy the lives of 3 people. I'd forgotten about that movie. That's right. It's a very good movie about lying. Now, in order to see Juliette and make peace with you, all will be forgotten. If not, I'm prepared, and people know this. People should read what my own half-sister has to say about you. You wouldn't want your family to know the truth, and neither would I. I think you're a good person, caught up in the web, manipulated by Iris. Remember, Juliette's health and well-being comes first before anything. Getting rid of the fear of me is the first step. When you think, oh, by the way, I love the Father's Day card Juliette made for me at school. She probably won't remember. It made my day. That was a lie. You know that's a lie, Juliette. You know you didn't make it for me, but I thought I'd throw it in there to stir your mother to the pot a little bit. Your mother writes back, I will read this over a few times and figure out responses. Juliette is healthy, her anxiety's lessened, her depression's lessened. She has less pressure now that school is out finally. She sees her friends regularly. I have every confidence she will make her way in the world. Do you want me to read some of your letters, or try to read some of them to her? Oh, Jesus, Well, how does your mother have to ask me that? All right, back. I've read your response. Please allow her to let my lawyer read what I wrote you. She get a good counter response tomorrow. Thanks for writing. As far as the letters, look at some of them. I think they will encourage her. As I am pleased for Juliette. Please wait. My response and it'll help clarify what I said. Okay. She had me rephrase a few things. As for the most recent letters, I have started writing them as if I'm talking to her in the future. Yes, if you still have them, you can cherry pick them because they were the most inspirational ones I have ever written. Having been told the advice given, I felt I had to tell you what was going on because since I have been waiting for a knock on my door every day, my hope with my new family therapist and my orders, 87 days away now, we could as we have in the past, come to an understanding and somehow rectify things, as hard as that sounds, for Juliette's sake. I had to set something up that would protect me if there was another court hearing, as I was caught so unaware that I didn't know what to do last time. And I feel I may have seen Juliette had I not been totally. If I had not been totally broke, I felt I would have been seeing Juliette instead of using that public attorney. That has changed in the last 2 years. From lining up a lawyer to having a friend financially cover my costs in exchange for being paid back in my will, to reestablish a great relationship with my sister again, I make no bones about wanting to start a new relationship with Juliette, because the old one is gone. That time will never come again. If anything else happens, I want Juliette to live a happy life. Let's face it, I have nothing else of value besides the land. I didn't want my response to seem threatening, but I had to let you know and be honest with you. If the worst, in my opinion, happens. One thing I know is that the lawyers don't is that I have known you for 30 years, and I still refuse to think of you as a bad person. I don't want to go to my grave having Juliette thinking I'm a bad person. After one of your comments, I turned Facebook back to public to show you I am not talking about you badly. In fact, not at all. Even so, I friended Dee, and she can confirm that. I became friends with her in January, not knowing where she stood on the whole issue, and in fact, she knew little about it. But I need them to come to their senses and sell that land while we're still alive, because if another Katrina comes, forget it. But she is suffering badly with Diana and her anorexia and her drinking and bipolar, and she is so frightened that Diana is going to die. As a therapist said to me, you have got to talk. As I said, I didn't want to seem like I was going to do anything. I was only setting up a system to be ready. Lori, I really don't know what your intentions are. But I'm here 24 hours a day. If you or Julia need my help, I have made mistakes. I have learned the hard way. And all of us, all we have left is the future. I have no intention of revenge or demonizing you. What good would that do? By the time you get this, my lawyer will have written this, so you should get this tomorrow. And I'd like to point out, now that email is finished, that your mother said that she never read any of my letters to you, and then she called me had illusions of grandeur. So obviously she was reading them, you know. So I think it just goes downhill from here because the Linkin Park concert's coming up, and that's the next email. So we'll call. I'll just call this one the July email. Love you, honey.